We'll do the Nam's mantra and then we'll get into the discussion. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Swap Antikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Padakalam Sri Guru Vaishnava Mamsa Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sajna Raghunatha Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parjanam Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sajna Lalita Sri Vishakha Vitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कंचना गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नामस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर भगवान की जय। जगन्नाथ बाल सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। श्री गौर निताई भगवान की जय। श्री गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। Hare Krishna. So happy New Year to all of you. 2020 was bad year, and let's pray to have nicer, 2021, so that we can see each other and have this class maybe live, not on Zoom, but in person. I mean to say, we can meet somewhere once things get better, and then have classes at least once a while. So we are still continuing with chapter 10, and title of this chapter is The Opulence of the Absolute. So we went up to 20 first verses. So what I'll do today is that I'll just go over quickly one by one to give you the synapse so that we stay in rhythm, and then I'll basically continue from verse number 22nd. So this chapter has total 42 verses, and these verses can be basically subdivided into 4 major categories. The first 1 to 7, knowing that Krishna is unknowable and the source of all. And then the Chatusloki verses, verse number 8 to 11, which are pure bhakti, the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So the essence of Bhagavad Gita is basically teaching us the science of pure bhakti. And then after that, Arjuna is accepting Krishna's supreme position, and then he is doing glorification of Lord. And then after that, Lord Krishna described his opulences. So basically today, we are going to go through the verses in the very last section from 22nd to verse number 42. So as we talked last time, that this chapter, basically in the previous chapter, Krishna is requesting Arjun to fix his mind. Then in this chapter, he is explaining, he is describing how a person who is constantly trying to remember Krishna can remember him. And then he is showing all of his opulences. And he also says that this is just the partial list. I'm just going to show you some of my principal opulences. So That's what basically is the last section of this chapter. So we talked about these slides in previous section, and then we also had discussion about Chatusloki verse. So one thing also to be noted is that before Krishna started talking about all of his opulences, these four Chatusloki verses coming. And verse number 8 is basically about Krishna is the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. I am the source of all spiritual and material world. So, so we have to be very careful when we are reading those opulences. We should not think that they are Krishna, or we should not think that by worshiping them we are worshiping Krishna. Rather, this is basically to confirm that Krishna is all of that, but he is superior than all of opulences. So those examples and those vibhutis that we are going to read to basically establish the supremost position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's how we'll see. And we also see one of the verse and the commentary by uh, Baldev Vidyabhushan, how he basically sees the opulences mentioned by Krishna in this chapter. So we went through, I think we went up to verse number 20 last time. So I'm going to start the second segment here, part 2. And in the picture, you can see that all the examples in the picture format, that Krishna is saying that, in all the fish, among all the fishes, I am shark, among all the rishis, sages, I am Narad, among all the that as I am Prahlad Maharaj. So you'll see one by one. So what we have done here to keep it simple for us to connect and get best out of it, I have basically the broader theme, the broader subsection, and that's basically Lord Krishna's describes his vibhutis. So we are going through that segment where Krishna is going to describe his opulences. And then also the next column, we have verse, all the list of verses as we go one after another. And then among the Adityas, so that's the one column, among the Rudras, or among all the living beings. So that's how we read. And then the fourth column, Krishna is. So among the Adityas, Krishna is Vishnu. So like that, we'll see those as we go, and that will help us to get best out of each verse. So in verse number 21, Krishna is saying that among the Adityas, so there are 12 Adityas. I am Vishnu. Vishnu is one of them. Among all the luminaries, I am Shan. And Marutas means wind. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is writing that there are 50 variety of wind blowing in space. And Krishna is saying here that among all the winds, he is Marichi. And then stars, among all the stars, he is moon. Prabhupada is saying, requesting when he's writing his books that, one moon will be sufficient. So all the endeavor that I'm doing, writing volumes and volumes of commentary, my sole purpose is that even if there is one person who takes this process very seriously and become pure devotee, like one moon, that will be sufficient for my endeavor. So here Krishna is saying that among all the stars, his moon. So that's what we get in verse number 21. And there are not much purport in these verses, but still there are some, points that Prabhupada is mentioning. So while you are doing your homework, you can go through those purport. But as I'm going through these verses, I'll try to highlight if there is any key points. So verse number 22, among all the Vedas, Krishna is Sham Veda. And Sam Veda, so there are 4 Vedas, as we know. Sham Veda is the Veda that talks about musics, that talk about the songs that is being, sung in appreciation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So among the Veda, Krishna is Sham Ved, and among the demigods, Krishna is Indra. And out of all the senses that we have got, 5 gross senses and 3 subtle. So 3 subtle is mind, intelligence, and false ego. So Krishna is saying that among the senses is mind. And in living beings, he is consciousness. So most of the time we say quality matters, not the quantity. So what basically distinct any beings from a human being, basically in human being has higher consciousness. So the consciousness of the living being is represented by Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Then we'll move to verse number 23. So in 23, Krishna is saying that he is Shankar, which is Shiva, among all the Rudras. So there are 11 Rudras. And out of those, Shankar or Lord Shiva is predominant. So Krishna is representative of Rudras, out of all Rudras as Shankara. And then Yaksha and Rakshasa, among all the Yaksha and Rakshasa, Krishna is Kubera. And then Vashus. Vashus are basically demigods of material element. So there are 8 Vashus. And Agni, Prithvi, sky, Antariksh, moon, star, sun, all of these are basically, Vashus. So out of these 8 Vashu, Krishna is Agni. And then of all the mountains, he is mountain Meru. So as you can see that Krishna pervades everywhere, and anywhere we see, we can see him. So moving to verse number 24, among all the priests, Krishna is Brihaspati. Among all the commanders, he is Kartikeya. And out of all the water bodies, he is ocean. So verse number 24, Prodhasham cha mukhyam ma vidhi partha Brihaspatiim senani namaham askandaha sarsa asmi sagarha sarsa sami ashmi sagarha sarsa means reservoir of water. So of all the reservoir of water, Krishna is saying that I am the greatest one, which is ocean. Then in verse number 4, there are 4 opulences mentioned. Among all the great sages, Krishna is Bhrigu. So Bhrigu, so basically sons of Lord Brahma, and out of them, Bhrigu represents Krishna. And then of all the vibration, so there are many vibrations, means sound form. Of all the transcendental, out of all the transcendental vibration, Omkar represents Krishna. So that's how Prabhupada is writing in the there are multiple kinds of vibration, but among all, so when we are saying the vibration, transcendental vibration, not mundane vibration. So out of all the transcendental vibration, the vibration of Om represents Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then of sacrifices, japa. And then specifically, japa means chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So out of all the sacrifice, chanting seriously the holy name of Krishna represents Supreme Lord. And then out of all the immovable things, Himalaya represents Supreme Lord. So
Hare Krishna Ramachandra Prabhu.
Yeah.
So in the verse number 22, it says demigod. So he says Indra. Why he selected Indra? Why not Brahma or Shiva or anything? Is there any reason on that?
So out of all the Rudras, he is Sankara, Shiva. So Shiva is coming there.
Okay.
So within the demigods also, there are different categories. Like for example, these Vasus. So there are three principal demigods like Rudraj and Vasus. So basically, if you put into the category wise here, demigods means basically the demigods who are in charge of governing, like for example, Vayu, Agni, and other demigods who are basically like their demigods are personality, right? Personality for earth, personality for Vayu, personality for fire, personality for rain. So when we are talking about demigods, we are talking about that type of demigods. But when we talk about Shiva, then Shiva is demigods, but he is falling into different categories.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically the demigods who are governing, or who are more like a personality who are helping with the governance.
Okay.
Like for example, for example, saying like that, out of all the president, I am president of India. You see my point?
Yeah.
So you can also say that out of all the living being, I am basically, His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada. So basically you can put into different category also. So now, the thing is that, instead of talking about all the living being, we are talking more of a type of, living being. There are, as we know, that 33 millions of demigods. So this one is basically representing those personalities who are helping in the governance of the material world.
Okay, bro.
Prabhu, you said it's a personality, right? Like again, that personality, is it equal? I mean, is Krishna that personality? I mean, Indra means is Krishna and Indra, like that post keeps on. I mean, the personalities will be changing in that post, right? Indra is a post.
Right.
So how to take that? I mean, is Krishna in the personality Indra means, so whoever is the current Indra, like he is Krishna?
Yes. So this is basically representing that position of Indra. So we study in Srimad Bhagavatam, it comes in Srimad Bhagavatam also, that whenever there is a transition of yuga, or at some point, Lord Brahma is going to basically leave his body, right? He's going, so there will be new Brahma. So in that transition from old Brahma to new Brahma, there is some time when there is no body to act as Lord Brahma. So then Lord sometimes comes as a Brahma, okay? But when we talk about Brahma, we are talking about not Brahma A or Brahma B, rather whoever is holding that position of Brahma, he is representative of Indra. Likewise, also the Indra's position is not Indra is a position. So in each manmantra, that comes in Canto 6. That in each manmantra has basically 6 governing personalities who all together helps support the governance at that time. So there will be king, there will be incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there will be manmantra, there will be demigods, and then there will be position of the Indra. So in each manmantra there is a different Indra. So from one to second mantra, there is some time where there is not a suitable person who can take the position of Indra. So at that time, Krishna takes the position of Indra. But that doesn't mean that Krishna is talking about that particular Indra. Rather, he's talking about, this is it's basically it's called Surendra. The position is called Surendra. Who is holding the position of Indra is Surendra. So either whoever is holding that position, and I can show you the list. I have a list of all the Surendra, or the who is equivalent to Indra in each manmantra. So Indra is a position, and whoever holds that position is representative of Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
So that's how we have to see. So we have to continue where we left. So yes, so in verse number 26, was it clear?
Yeah, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare
Yeah, that
Krishna.
keep on. I mean, that was striking in my mind. I thought of asking.
Yeah, whoever holds that position of Indra represents Krishna. Again, this is represent.
Like, I mean, as there are many others, right? Like, I mean,
Yes.
Men, king, he said, and all those things. Okay.
Yes. So for example, here in verse number 22, you see that in the living beings, I am as a consciousness, right? So living being, there are multiple types of living being, right? And they have multiple types of consciousness, right? But the chetana, the highest most chetana, or chetana that living being has, that chetana is representative of Krishna. So in fact, in very concise way, based among everything. That's how it is. Krishna is best, and you will see that. As you can basically continue looking at the examples. For example, out of all the water bodies, so there are small ponds, there are small lakes, there are small rivers, there are big rivers. So among all the water bodies, Krishna is saying that I am the biggest one. I am the ocean. So likewise, he's the best in each category. That's how, in a very simple way, we have to see it. So out of all the Bashus, he is the best one, the best Bashu. So that's how we have to see, which is Agni. And now, why Agni is the best? That could be a separate topic. Then there is there might be some other pastime to justify why out of all the 8 Vashus, Agni is based, because Sun is also one of the Vashu, Prithvi is also one of the Vashu. But why Krishna is saying Agni is one of the Vashu, and he is Agni when it comes to Vashu. So that means we have to understand that out of all the Vashu, Agni is the best Vashus. So that's also you can see, such as in verse number 26, he is saying that out of all the trees, I am banyan tree. So banyan tree is the best tree among all the trees. Sages among the demigods, now here. So sages among demigods, he is Narad. So there are, and you also saw that he's saying that, around among all the, there was name of the Bhrigu Muni, among the great sages, I am Bhrigu. And then sages among the demigods, I am Narad. Okay, so we'll see, basically in the same. So all of them are sons of Brahma, right? But among the saintly personality, he represents Narad. That's what basically this means. And among all the Gandharvas, he is Chitraratha. So Gandharvas are the superhuman personality, and these personalities are basically, they sing for Supreme Lord. So they are the official singer and dancer for
Prabhu, do we need to remember for all these things for the exam?
some of the prominent ones, like for example, out of all the Rudras, Krishna represents maybe one or two might be in multiple choice question or fill up the blanks type of thing. But at least have to have the idea. I don't know if we can remember everything.
Okay.
I do not think that we have to remember. It's not the requirement, but at least understanding and knowing it as we are reading. That's how I would see. Some of them are very prominent that, for example, Indra also represents Krishna. So when we are talking about, sometimes, we have basically mentality also to criticize, these personalities. So in one sense, if you really broaden your understanding, then as a devotee, we have to be respectful for the others' positions also, right? So we have to basically not all the time be in a mentality of saying, oh, demigods are, basically not worth, anything. But that's not true, because they have also their identity and they are also representative of, Krishna. Looking at the vibhuti of Krishna, basically what we are seeing is that each and every being, whatever way they are existing, they are basically part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is the platform of Uttama Bhakt. So right now, the stage of consciousness that I have, I can see my friend as a friend. I can still see my enemy as enemy. I do not have that high consciousness to see both my friend and both my enemy as none of my friend, none of my enemy, seeing them on the equal platform. And that's basically very high level of, consciousness. So by going through this vibhuti of Krishna, there are multiple things being done. And we'll summarize in the, in the last slide of this class, that by looking at this vibhuti, we can be always in constant remembrance of Krishna. So, wherever we are seeing Krishna. Bhunam Janma Namante Gyanwan Mam Parpadyante Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahatmana Sadurlabha. It's not just the poetic, it's just not the, Krishna is not talking something in a very poetic way to hear, to just, make us feel good. But these things have deeper meaning. So when we are saying that, advanced devotee is seeing Krishna everywhere, here is an example, good example, how one can, and see Krishna everywhere. Vidya Vinaya Sampane, Brahmani Gavahastani. The man who is in perfect knowledge, he sees, cow and, elephant, dog and dog eater, all of them on the same platform. So that's what this same type of, thought process as we go through this one. This is enhancing our understanding about how Krishna is widespread. And you will see one of the verse, Krishna will say that I am Adi, I am the Madhya, and I am the Ant. So that's the basically, distinction between a devotee versus a person who is not devotee. A person who is not understanding this thing, can do some cruel thing against other living being, but you cannot, because you are already vegetarian, and you are trying to cut down as much as you can your necessity so that we don't incur sin. So from where all of that comes by reading these things. So learning, knowing things, and then putting that in a practical perspective is what is needed. So all of this information, if we put in a very practical perspective, then it helps us understand the opulence of Krishna, and it helps us understand how Krishna is present in each and every living being. So out of all the perfect beings, Krishna is saying that he's Kapila, and we are basically studying in Srimad Bhagavatam that Kapil Muni now is going to come as son of Kardama and Mother Devahuti, and then he is going to talk about Sankhya philosophy. So in that section, Prabhupada is mentioning about that Kapila, the son of Devahuti, is a representative of Krishna. He is considered an incarnation of Krishna, and his philosophy is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So he is basically talking about Srimad Bhagavatam and his philosophy that he spoke, Sankhya philosophy that he spoke to Mother Devahuti. So moving to verse number 27. Out of the horses, he is Uchasrava. So, and among the elephants, he is Eravat. So horses, among the horses, he is Uchasrava. So these are the basically, horse and elephant, these two living beings. When the ocean was churned, first came the poison. Prabhupada is writing in the third part. The first after churning, first came the poison, and that poison was drank by Lord Shiva. And then after that, nectar came. And from that nectar, this horse, Uchasrava, and the elephant, Eravat, came. So out of all the horses, since it came from the nectar, the horse Uchasrava represents Krishna, and elephant Eravat represents Lord Krishna. And then out of all the men, yes, Prabhu.
That Uchasrava horses are nothing but Arjuna's chariot. What Krishna was driving it?
Not sure. I'm not sure about that.
Uh-huh.
Not sure, Prabhu. I cannot confirm that. And out of all the men, you can see here, out of all the men, so who is more opulent? Like in any country, who is more opulent person? The person who is ruling, right? Like right now in our democracy, of course, the prime minister and president are the person who is the best among everybody. I mean, not in terms of quality, but at least opulence. So Krishna represents the king. Then moving to verse number 28. Out of all the weapons, thunderbolt. Krishna represents thunderbolt. And out of all the cows, survis. So these survis are the cow who lives in a spiritual world, especially in Golok Vrindavan. And the survi cow, they give, one cow can give all types of milk, and it can give any time. So this is the best. The survi cow is best among all the cows, and Krishna is saying that among all the cows, he is survi. Cause of procreation. So cause of procreation, Kandarpa means sex, lust for producing progeny. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is very clearly writing that Kandarpa is the sex desire for presenting good sons. Therefore, Kandarpa is the representative of Krishna. Sometimes sex is engaged in only for sense gratification. Such sex does not represent Krishna. But sex for the generation of good children is called Kandarpa and represents Krishna. So when we are saying that causes of procreation and then lust for producing progeny, in Sanskrit we call Kandarpa, the pure lust or the Sudh lust, that is for creation of a good progeny, represents Krishna. And you can see that when Lord Brahma was empowered by Lord to help with the creation, how much effort Lord Brahma is putting by creating his sons and providing all the means so that they can help create the progeny, create the mankind. So that good part is basically, which is not for mundane sense pleasure, represents Krishna. And then out of all the snakes, serpents, Krishna represents Vasuki. Many hooded, so moving to verse number 29, out of many hooded snakes, Krishna is Shesha, Anant Shesha. And of all the aquatics, he is Varuna. And among the ancestors, so ancestors have their planets. So Aryam planet of the ancestor is the representation, or is represented by Lord Krishna. And dispensers of law. So there are many personality who punishes miscreants for their bad action. Like, for example, we have our local government, we have police, we have, justice department. There are many, institutions where one get punished for their bad activity. Out of all who punishes miscreants, who punishes people who are doing bad, Yama is represented by Supreme Lord, because Yamaraj also does the punishment. He gives punishment to the people who are doing sinful activity. So moving to verse number 30. Bhaladashwasmi daityanam kalam kalyatmaham mriganam cha mrigendro aham vainatyasham pakshinam. So out of all the demon, Bhalad chasmi daityanam, out of all the demon, Krishna represents Bhalad Maharaj, because he was the best. Even he took birth in a demon family, but he was pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kalam Kalyata Aham, and he is time of all the subduers. So with time, anything that's diminishing, the one that diminishes it, the one that's cause it to subdue, time is Krishna. So here Krishna is saying that of all the subduer, I am the time. And then continues, among all the beasts, wow, Krishna is lion. Among beasts, I am the lion, and among the bird, I am Garuda. Of course, Garuda is the best bird, because Garuda is the bearer of the Lord. Prabhupada in the purport writing that Garuda, the bearer of the Lord, Vishnu, is the greatest. There are many subduing principles, but time wears down all things in the material universe, and so represents Krishna. Of the many animals, the lion is the most powerful and ferocious, and of the millions varieties of bird, Garuda, the bearer of the Lord, Vishnu, is the greatest. So moving to verse number 31, Pavanah Pavata Asmi Rama Sastra Bhritaham Ishanam Makarashtrasmi Shrukta Shama Asmi Jahanvi. Purifying agents, out of all the purifying agents, Pavanah Pavatama Asmi. Pavan represents, wind. So out of all the winds, Krishna is saying that he is purifying wind. And holders of the weapon, Rama Sastra Bhrita Aham, of all the holders, Sastra Bhrita Aham, of all the holder of Shastra, Rama, he is Lord Ram. He is Lord Ramchandra. We are convinced with that. And among all the fishes, Ishanam Makaraswasmi, among all the fishes, he is Markara, the shark fish. And among all the rivers, Srota, Sama Asmi, Jahanvi. Jahanvi represents Mother Ganges. So among all the river, he is Ganga. Okay, and then here this verse comes, 32. Sarga nam adirantasya madhya chaiva ma arjuna adhyatma vidyanam vada pravadatamaham. So sarga nam adi anantasya madhyam. So of all the creation, I am the beginning, middle, and end. So, how to understand that he is the beginning? Because we have been seeing a slide where we saw that as a super soul, he is basically the super soul of this material world, super soul of the universe, and super soul of all the living beings. So everything in the material world manifests from Mahavishnu. So he is beginning, and middle as a Vishnu, as Narayan, he is sustaining and supporting Bharta and Dharta. He is basically posting, taking care of us, giving us the poshnam, means for our survival, and then also he is giving us the protection, Dharta and Bharta. And then at the end, he himself comes, and he has expanded himself as a person in the mode of ignorance as Lord Shiva, who is in charge of annihilation. So, beginning as Mahavishnu, Dharta and Bharta as Narayan, and then annihilator as Lord Shiva. So he is beginning, middle, and end. And out of all the knowledge, Adhyatma Vidya, the knowledge that helps one to realize oneself. Krishna is saying that Adhyatma Vidyanam means among all the Vidya, I am the Adhyatma Vidya. Vada Pravadataham. And among all the logics and Vad and Prativad, the word that is being used here is Pravadataham. All the argument that happens, Krishna is saying that I am that Vada. And what is that Vada? Vada is basically conclusive truth. So doing that, and then in the purport, you will hear Prabhupada is writing about Japa and Prajalpa, Jalpa and Prajalpa. And he's writing about Vedanta Sutra as all the Vedic knowledge, and the essence of all the Vedic knowledge is basically with Vad and Prativad prove the point that the Supreme Lord has the highest most position. We are going through here multiple kind of reference and examples to come to the conclusive truth to accept Krishna's supremost position. So he's saying that among all the arguments and logic, I am the Vada, the conclusive truth, and that conclusive truth represents Krishna. Okay, so moving to verse number 33. Akshara nam akaro asmi. Among all the letters, Akshara nam akaro asmi. Dvanda samasi kasyacha. So among all the letters, Krishna is saying akar. And then in the purport you will read, Prabhupada is saying that akar, a, u, e, u, a, these are the basically vowels. So akar is a letter. Without that, no words can be formed. So Rama, everywhere, a is there. Shama, just say some name, Narayan, Ashok, Radhe. So a is the word that basically helps create any word. And then among the compound word, he is dual compound, like Rama, Krishna, Radhe, Shyam, Sita, Ram, Hare, Krishna. So among the compound words is dual compound. And then Britunam, among all the destroyer, he is time. So everything is being destroyed with time, right? Everything that exists in the material world. One of the nature of this material world is that everything is annihilating constantly. Everything is, basically, dying. Some we see, some we don't see, some we can see instantly, some we cannot see instantly. But the matter of the truth, everything is dying. We all are dying. We all are dying, and how you can see that we are dying? Go and look at how energetic, how young, how much strength you had when you were 26 years old, and see where we are now. We have this ache, that ache, this pain, that pain, this headache, so many things, so many disease coming up. So although we haven't died as such death, but in reality, each and every minute our cells, body cells are changing. It's getting old. The old cells are dying, new cells are coming up. So everything is basically killed with time. And ultimately with time also, everything will be killed. So Bhagavatam talks about it, that there are 4 types of, destruction. And one of the destruction, in fact, when I think about this, I think even if you say just there is one, way that things will destruct, that's time. I'm also okay with that. I can buy that, because in fact, everything is dying with time. Everything. Lord Brahma is also going to die with time. Maybe the time, frame is different, but except spiritual world, everything else that exists in the material world, they might have a different lifespan. They might have a different lifespan, but they are dying. And then, to answer Narayan Prabhu question back, I knew that this section is coming, but I just hold it on that one. So among all the creator, he is Brahma. So now you see, among the Rudra, he is Shiva. And among the creator, he is Brahma.
Okay, bro.
Clear?
Yeah.
So that's how he is. So among the creator, if we see on the basis of creation, we also create, right? Human beings are also creating. We have created house, we have created, car, we have created, aeroplane, we have created so many things. But, among all the creator now, if you see in the perspective of creator, then Krishna represents Lord Brahma. And then here comes beautiful. All of these are very beautiful. Verse number 34, where Krishna is saying, Mritu sarva harasya aham. So, as a destroyer, I am the devouring death. Death that takes place at every moment. Krishna is the death. Krishna represents the death. So if you do not surrender to him before our actual death comes, then at the time of death, Krishna comes and take over on everything. So Mritu Sarvahara Samaham, Krishna is death. And of the future manifestation, he is the generating principles. And then among all the women, he is Opulences. So all of in the purport, Prabhupada is writing that the 7 opulences listed, fame, fortune, memory, fine speech, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience, are considered feminine. So there are feminine and feminine male, feminine, feminine, basically in the main category, in the animal category. And, there are, different types of feminine. But out of all the feminine, Krishna represents these opulences, these 7 opulences, which is fame, fortune, memory, fine speech, patience, intelligence, and steadfastness. And then moving to verse number 35. So in the hymns of Sham Ved, Prahat Sam is the supermost hymns, and that is represented by Krishna. And in the purport, Prabhupada is writing that this Birhat Shama is a very exotic hymns that is normally sang in the midnight. So Sama Veda is rich with beautiful songs played by the various demigods. One of these songs is the Brihat Sama, which has an accusative melody and is sung at midnight. Then among all the poetry, Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra that devotee chants. And there is a lot of description given here about Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam because the Gayatri Mantra is especially meant for God realization. It represents the Supreme Lord. The mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people. And when one attains success in chanting it, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. So that Gayatri Mantra, among all the poetry, Gayatri is the best. And among all the month of Marga Shirsa, I think it's in Hindi, it's called Mag Mantra. Mag Mantra, which normally falls in the November, December, is considered representative of Krishna. And among all the seasons, spring, of course, spring, one of the best seasons. Everybody loves spring. So the flower bearing season is spring is represented by Krishna. And among all the cheaters, gambling is the worst type of cheating. So Krishna can cheat also. If he has to, he can cheat. And among all the splendid, he is splendor. Among all the victorious, he is the victory. And those who effort, those who makes endeavor, he is the effort. His effort is the adventure, endeavor of a person who is endeavoring for something high. And then his strength for the strong. So going to verse number 37, among the descendants of Vishnu, he is Vasudeva. Among Pandavas, he is Arjuna. Among sages, he is Vyasdeva. So among all the sages who compiled Shastra, in that category, he is Vyasdeva. So you can see that at one place he's saying that among the sages he is Vrigu, among the demigod sages he is Narad. So all of that we have to see, of course Narad, when it comes to carrying the devotional message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narad Muni stands on the top. When it comes to writing and compiling and giving the jnana to the mankind, then Vyasdeva comes. So likewise, we have to see. And then among all the thinkers, Sukracharya represents Lord, because Sukracharya was very good in foresighting. And as we see in the pastime of Bhaman and Balidev.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes. Can you hear?
Yeah. In the months, why he's chosen Margasirsha? Any reason? Why not Kartik month? Normally, we celebrate Kartik month is the best one.
I haven't heard Kartik month is the best month. I've heard that Kartik month is a very auspicious month. And Kartik month, if you do the devotional service, you will get multiple benefit. But this Magh month also, basically, in English, basically, it's very hard to say that Magh month is always going to fall in November, December. But Magh is very much like Magh, Fagun, Chat, Baisakh, So Magh, in Hindi we say Magh, Falguna. So this is basically in the Magh month, the springs, begins. So Magh month is basically, inceptions of all auspiciousness. That's one thing. Another thing also, sometimes Magh month is basically the beginning of the year. Also, Magh, Fagun, Chat, Baisakh, Jet, Asar, Sawan, Bhadra, Ashin, Kartik, Aghan, like that it goes, in Sanskrit. So Magh month is the beginning of the year. So these are the two reasons we can give to say that Magh month is the best month, because the year begins from the Magh. See what Prabhupada is saying. The month of November and December is considered the best of all the months, because in India, grains are collected from the field at this time and people become very happy. Of course, a spring is a season universally liked, because it's not, so inceptions of the spring, it's not too hot, it's not too cold, and then there are flowers and trees are green, and there is flowers environment everywhere. There are also so many ceremonies and commencements that happens during that time. So therefore this month is considered the most joyful, and it is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's inception of spring month.
Prabhu, can I add something?
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead. Yeah, Prabhu.
Prabhu, no, I think Magh is different, Prabhu, because after Margashirsha comes Pausa, then comes Magh. So Margashirsha is different month, Prabhu.
Which month is that then?
No, that's what he said, November, December usually, but typically so Margashirsha just after Kartik, then Margashir. And then after that Pause, then comes Magh. So the one you're talking about, Magh, that's different, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu. Magh in the sense, normally it comes in sometime in February.
January, February, that time.
Yeah.
So Prabhu, to answer the question, I heard this answer to Narayan Prabhu's question in a lecture by Amarendra Prabhu. Can I share that, Prabhu?
Yeah, please share. Agahan, is Agahan. Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
So Prabhu, so Margashirsha, so Krishna says that Margashirsha is like he is the Margashirsha among the different months. So that's true, as Prabhupada explains there, because that's when the harvesting happens and everybody's happy. So Krishna is represented by that month. But month of Kartik, that is represented by Radharani. So and obviously Radharani's position is considered to be higher than Krishna's position in the Vaishnava literature. So that's why for the Vaishnava devotees, the month of Kartik is even higher than month of Margashir, because that month is very close to Radharani's heart. And in fact, the Kartik, the name, it comes from Kritika. Radharani's, one of the Radharani's name is Kritika. Her mother's name is Kirtida. Radharani's name, one of her names was Kritika. So from that, Kartik comes. And that because it's so dear to Radharani, that's why for Vaishnavas, that's even higher than any other month.
But the question is Margashirsha. Why Krishna chose Margashirsha, not Kartik?
Yes, Prabhu. So right after Kartik, the month that comes is called Margashira. Yes. Yeah. So this is right. So right after Kartik, the month that comes is Margashira, and this is the month when all the grains are harvested and people become very happy. So these are some of the examples. So right after Kartik, basically, the Margashira comes, but not this year, maybe, because this year we had one extra month. So not exactly November and December will match, but most of the time it will match with November and December.
So it is applicable only for India.
That is also a good question.
Yeah. So we cannot apply that here.
That we cannot apply into the, according to the English calendar too. Yes. I mean, I personally think that you cannot apply to the English calendar for sure.
Yeah.
That I can, that definitely is not going to work. So if we look into but just to make us understand, it's roughly given that around, November, December time, this month will fall. And other, examples such as Kartik is represented by, it's coming from Mother Kriti and all of that, may be a good way to look at it for sure. So can I proceed now to the next one?
Yes, Prabhu.
So among all the season, we read that, we read all of that. Flower bearing spring season is the best season. And then cheaters, gambling, splendid splendor, victorious victory, those who endeavor, effort, and then the strength of the strong person is represented by Krishna. Among the Pandavas, he is Arjunas. Among the sages, he is Vyasdev. And among the thinker, he is Shukracharya. And then in the third part, Prabhupada is writing that Shukracharya has, far developed intelligent. He was extremely intelligent, and he's he was far-seeing politician. So he was extremely intelligent and far-sighted politician. And that, and Ushana also, among the Kavis, Ushana, Shukracharya was the spiritual master of the demons. He was, same thing. So he was, very intelligent, and his far-sightedness was very strong. So that is representative of Krishna. Again, these things could have some multiple perspective. If you want to do more research, you are more than happy to continue looking into it. Means of suppressing the lawlessness, punishment. And victory seeker, his morality. So a person who are looking for victory, among them, his morality. And among all the secrets, his silence. I really, love that one. That is something that, really I liked a lot. That among all the secrets, and see what Prabhupada is saying, among the confidential activities of the hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is the most important, because by silence, one can make progress very quickly. So that's the benefit of being silent given here, that a silent person can make rapid advancement. The wise man is he who can discriminate between matter and spirit. So who is wise? Among the wise, Krishna is saying the wisdom. And what type of wisdom? In the purport, Prabhupada is writing, wisdom to discriminate between matter and spirit. And then finally, Aham Bij Prajapita, among all the existence, the seed, the bija of all the existence, either it's moving or non-moving. I think, I should take the N out. So either it's moving or non-moving, the bija, the original seed is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, basically, the list of opulences finishes. And then Krishna is saying that there is no end to my divine vibhutis, but this is just some of the list. Know all that majestic, beautiful and powerful creation in past, present and future spring from but a fragment of my splendor. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam Srimad urjitam eva va tad tad eva gachatvam. So wherever you are seeing this vibhuti, this Srimad, this beauty, Urdjitvam, this power, tad eva gachatvam. O Arjuna, you should know mama tejo amsa sambhavam. Mama tejo amsa. These are nothing but my partial manifestation. So all of that we saw is basically nothing but partial manifestation of the splendor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atah va bahuna etena kim gyatena tavarjuna vistabhayam idam kirtsanam ekamansa istito jagat. By what is the need of all this detailed knowledge? Atah va bahuvetena. What is the use of all this knowledge? Kim gyatena to Arjuna. What's the benefit of knowing all of this? Because with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So verse number 41 and 42, very similar message where Krishna is saying that by his amsa, he manifests and he sustains the entire creation. Krishna is the source and basis of everything in this universe. And then we can basically look at the theory super soul, feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So next and last slide. So this basically chapter talking about so many different examples of the opulences of Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one may come to this conclusion that, okay, so Krishna is here, Krishna is there, Krishna is everywhere, right? Bahir Narsimha, and Antar Narsimha, Narsimha is everywhere, he's inside and he's outside. So one may, think that outside and inside is Narsimha, and one may forget the actual Narsimha Deho. So very beautifully in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is quoting Baldev Buddhayabhushan, and his, basically commentary is summarized here. Yet Sakti, Lesat Suryada, Sur Adaya, Adaya means coming, Ugna, Yadaya. Bhavanti ate ugra tejasaha, yad amsena dhritam vishwam, yad amsena dhritam vishwam, Sha Krishno dasama uchate. For Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power. And by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Yad amsena dhritam vishwam. Dhritam means maintained. Yad amsena, by his fragmentation, by his partial support, by his partial expansion, dhritam vishwam, the whole universe is supported. Tat Krishno dasmera uchate. Therefore, that Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is worshipable. So 2 points that we can take, that Lord Krishna describes his opulence on which devotee can fix his mind and remember him. Whenever he sees anything opulent, powerful, and beautiful in this world, we can see Krishna everywhere. And these opulences are given to us to establish the superior position of the Supreme Lord. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Krishna is saying that I am the super, controller of all and everything. So that's how we see the opulences mentioned in this chapter. So we are almost 11 minutes late. Sorry for a little bit going over the time, but we wanted to, yes. Okay, so thank you. So with that, I would like to conclude here today, and we can do Vaishnava Pranams. Is it okay, Prabhus? Matasis?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so let's do Vaishnava pranams. Vanshkalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evascha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Assemble Bhakti Vrind ki jai. Thank you. So I'll do a little bit research on the mark sheets, and if I can find something, I'll share in the next class. If not, then you can read what's given in Srila Prabhupada's purport, and then we'll continue reading from chapter 11. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Happy New Year once again.
Happy
New Year.
Hari Hari
Gorgeous,
Hari.
have gorgeous New Year. Make some strong resolution this year, okay? Like more
Right.
chanting and being servants of the servants of the servants of the servant, you know, das, 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 like that, you know, thousands times das, and then your names should come into the down, and having more dedication to read the Shastra, you know, having more respect for the senior devotee, you know, developing the mood of humility and tolerance, those type of things, all the spiritual good quality. There are 26 qualities mentioned, you know, in the Shastra for a devotee. So we cannot basically, you know, do all of that at once. So 1 year pick 2 or 3 of those, next year 2 or 3 of those, then next year 2 or 3 of those. Okay, so whatever you think is your shortcoming, you know, we have, you know, I have a lot of, you know, weakness. So I definitely chose some of them that I'm going to work. Likewise, you can go and choose some 1 or 2, you know, items that if you don't find out, like just humility is not going to help you. You have to basically chalk it down where you are not humble. When somebody is saying you something which you don't want to hear, are you acting as a humble or not? So some broad term, theoretical broad term is good, but you have to translate those broad term in a practical way. So we read Shastra, very good, but Shastra will give you a broad, you know, way to guide your line. But then you have to come back and look into your thing and say, okay, here is my weakness. These are the things that I have to work. Then we take the reference of Shastra, work on that, and then get on the highway. So Shastra is highway, and a small exit. We take it and then come back on the highway, like that. So please, you know, mold your life in a way. All of us have opportunity. I'm not saying that I do not have opportunity. Tons of opportunity I have too. So please, you know, work on those parts and make your life very, very happy and very, very successful. So once again, Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much.
Haribol. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Bol. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Thank you for your guidance, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Hare.